Hello and welcome to another episode of Let Loose with Moose. Today I'm very happy to have CJ join me. Hello CJ, how are you?
Hello, hello. All good, all good.
Right. So maybe you can start off with a self-introduction and let us know a little bit more about yourself.
I'm CJ. I started crypto pretty late, I guess, like around May 2021 during COVID. Right now I'm actually just like sort of like full-time degen, like farming coins, aping coins, and I run C4, which is sort of like a news aggregator where I post daily updates on news, new projects I find, and like what's launching today. So, for example, like this farm is launching today, this token is launching today, stuff like that. And I work part time as an analyst for a VC as well.
All right, very interesting. All right, so maybe before we get into C4 and maybe the analyst side of yourself, maybe you can elaborate a bit more about how you got started into crypto. Like you mentioned, it was May 2021, right? Like,
Yeah.
what was the first chain you interacted on, like the first projects, or what made you like even get into crypto in the first place?
Uh, Actually, I found out about like ETH and like Bitcoin like sometime in like 2020. I think like 2020 or like early 2021. But I like bought ETH and like sold the next day because I didn't know what was it and like the number wasn't going up actually. So I sold. But then like around May 2021 was like during COVID. So like a lot of like the companies like we had to work from home. So I started like browsing, I guess like YouTube more. Like I tried to like self-learn about like stuff like investments. So I was like reading about stocks and stuff like that. Then I just randomly came across like YouTube. There's one I don't know if you know this influencer, Taiki Maida.
Right.
He
Yep.
yeah, he was writing like I got baited basically by like a header called How I Made 10,000 Medic in 2 weeks. Then I was like, oh shit. Then I basically just like started going into his like Discord and then like started like reading about like what the hell is crypto again lah, like starting from scratch. So from there then I just joined a bunch of Discords, then asked questions and stuff. So I basically started doing like the Polygon incentive season, like they
Ah,
like the Abe looping stuff like that. Yeah, and I still like distinctively remembered like on my first day or second day of like proper like DeFi like was testing stuff out. I was like I was aping into those like 4% deposit fee farms. And then
ooh,
I like I switched like 3 farms in one day because the
ooh.
token was going down. Then I'm like, why am I not making money? Then I kept switching around. Then I kept losing money. Then I'm like, oh, but yeah, from there then just kept meeting people, reading and watching a lot of YouTube.
Ah,
Yeah.
that's interesting, man. I I got in around that same time, maybe half a year later, like late 2021. I mentioned in the last episode with Poem, right? But
Mm.
I think it's very cool. Didn't know that actually you joined around the same period as us. I always thought that you joined super early, like the OG kind, you know.
Nah, I joined pretty late because I think a lot of like people I met also joined around the Polygon season.
Mm, okay.
Yeah.
And it's pretty crazy, right? Like how everyone learns and evolves, I guess, so quickly in this space. I mean, it's almost 2 years now for you in this space, right? I mean, we go from knowing nothing to like an expert new farmer now.
I mean, I'm not an expert by any chance, lah, but I mean, the journey was pretty fun, lah. Like, I was still working a 9 to 5, like when I was like trying to do crypto, like from May until like I think like February 2022, I was still working at 9 to 5. Then I usually just go home, eat dinner, shower, and then like literally just kept doing crypto until like 2, 3 a.m. And then I sleep. And then I wake up the next day, go to work like a zombie like that.
Damn, the hustle life, but it's addictive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot stop now. I got FOMO if I don't do anything for one day.
Right. Very interesting. So like you got started on Polygon, right? You mentioned like it was
Mm,
Polygon season.
yeah.
Then after that, like what was your maybe first project that you worked on?
The
Do you
first
remember?
project, it was definitely Arvik lah. Cause
It's
I think
Abe.
like the video was like just chilling like Taiki looping on Arvik. So I was doing the same thing. And I was like, oh okay. Like why do I make money? I didn't understand like all the mechanics. I didn't even know what was like. I didn't even know how Aave worked. or like what was the DEX or the money market and all these kind of stuff. Then I started aping into like farms because I saw like a 4% fee and then like you earn like what 1,000, 2,000, 3,000% per day or some shit like that.
Right.
Yeah, so I just started aping from there. Then losing money non-stop. Then I was like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do this first. Maybe I should learn about the basics.
Right.
So yeah.
But I think it's quite funny. Like I used to do that as well. Like I think my first farm is like I'll just copy the steps of the YouTube video, right? Like swap here, then deposit your tokens here, and then like click claim, that kind of
Yeah, man,
things.
everything was like that. Oh, yeah, I now they mention. I remember my first farm. It was called
Man,
Polygo. Yeah,
I've
but
not
it
even heard
rocked
of
like an
that.
end. It rocked in the end, so
Oh shit. All right,
yeah.
right. I think that that's very interesting. It's always nice to hear someone's like so-called origin story of how they got started, right? And like I believe you are more active on Arbitrum now.
Technically, I'm on everywhere where the yield or like whatever's launching.
Right.
Basically, like so, my stuff like Kava, Canto, like I was on the first day of Canto, I was like really farming there. Then you have stuff like ZK like Dogechain, almost like a lot of these kind of like EVM chains. I'm really on there lah.
Right.
But more towards EVM chains. So stuff like Aptos, Solana, I don't
Cosmos.
really do it because like it's very hard to audit
Mm.
stuff there properly lah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Right. So expert yield farmer, as I mentioned. You're everywhere, wherever the yield brings you.
Yeah. Okay
Right.
lah. Yeah, I guess.
Okay, okay. Right. Very interesting. So you mentioned you run C4 now. Maybe
Mhm.
elaborate about how you got started with C4. Like what made you like have this idea like, all right, I want to start this service, C4.
So I'm like aping stuff with my friends because I have like a Discord also So then like I always tabulate like what is launching today, what stuff I find, and then like I was doing this like almost on a daily basis. Like I have calendars, like Twitters, everything. Then I started like posting daily for myself initially. Like I was like writing it on the whiteboard. Like
Wow.
this is launching at like 10 p.m. UTC, this is launching at 11 p.m. UTC, stuff like that Then at one point I think I started posting on like Telegram for myself only. Actually, it was actually a closed Telegram with me and a few of my friends. So it was something for me just to keep track on what's going on and stuff. Then I think after a while, I think a few of my friends like tell me like you should just like open it up to public or stuff like that So I was like, okay. Then at first it was more focused towards like pretty degen stuff. So like your meme coins, your degen funds, your Ponzi, those money game and all those kind of stuff But then I think eventually like I got pretty bored or it was either I got bored or it's like everything was crashing. I think after everything crashed and there was like none of these were launching anymore. So I was like, oh shit. Then I started sort of like pivoting towards looking for new projects, more sort of like uh so-called more sustainable or more legit projects So
Mm-hmm.
now I list very little like all those like what do you call it like the Titano Fox, all these like reverse rebase nonsense like X Fox, all these I kind of like cut it out already cause it's like waste of my time
So you were
doesn't
bored of getting rubbed, lah. Then then
not
you
to
wanted to
say
move over.
bored of not really, but it's more like with when it comes to all these coins, right? There's like so much you can ape on here. So it's
Right.
like not worth the effort or time to even like keep track of this already Cause like you only can ape like damn small amount. It's not something you can like legit throw a lot of money
Yeah.
at it.
Right.
So like the time time to effort like required is like not there So I kind of like stop. And also like 90% of them were rocks anyway.
Right. So I'm sure that means you were chasing after Tomb Fox as well, I believe. Or
Yeah,
Om
man.
Fox.
Toon Fox, Home Fox, Phantasm Fox, those were one of the most fun periods, I guess, because it was literally like free money if you know what was a rock and what wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So during that time, I think I made quite a few friends who like deaf friends who know how to like read code.
Wow,
So I've
nice.
also read my fair share of like tool forks lah. So like it's pretty easy to diff check what's a rock and what's not. So
Right.
as long during that time there was still a lot of money flying around lah. So a lot of people were buying the native token. So you could easily make back like let's like a lot of them deposit fees were like 1%, but you could easily make like 3, 4, 5% on your entire like deposit. So it was pretty good during the gold fork season.
Mm.
Then the old fork was basically being early as hell before everyone else buying the coin. So that one also was pretty good. Then the Phantasm season was also actually decent, but I got rugged. Like I think there was one rug which I think was the biggest amount I ever got rugged for. It was like 50k.
Ooh,
Yeah. Because I entered the farm before I slept, and then I set my alarm to wake up in like 4, 5 hours. And then it was like 10 a.m. When my alarm rang, I go and snooze my alarm for one
oh
more hour.
shit,
Yeah, when I woke up, then my friends said this shit rock. Like they were in the middle of rugging already. So I lost like quite a big
man.
I took a big haircut lah. So if I didn't like snooze my alarm, right, I would have saved my best because I would have like caught the developers starting to do the shady stuff already lah. But
Shit.
yeah.
So they were watching it get rubbed, but they didn't call you, or like you couldn't wake
I
up.
think they called, but then I think my phone was on silent or something
Ah,
lah. So it didn't ring. It didn't ring. So like I was like,
shit. I'm so sorry. Sounds so painful.
yeah. I mean, like it happens lah.
Right, like
Yeah.
mid five figures just gone
Yeah. I
overnight.
mean,
Like,
okay, it's probably not 50 lah. More like 30.
right. I
Yeah,
mean,
somewhere around there.
yeah, it's not small money, I
Yeah,
guess.
it's not small.
Right. Uh,
Yeah.
right. And like maybe I don't know if you can share this. So you mentioned like you script for all these projects. How do you actually go about doing it? Like there's so many things
So
launching every day, so much news for every project update. How do you keep up every single day?
yeah, so I mean, I obviously like I don't just scroll Twitter like by myself lah. It's like literally impossible lah, because you have to be very organized when it comes to stuff like that. So I don't purely rely on my own uh like my own Twitter, because as I said, like C4 is an aggregator. So I scour a lot of like other sources also lah for everything lah basically. Then I take what I find interesting, and I just put it in my channel lah, because it's an aggregator ma. Because there's no one channel where they don't call themselves an aggregator, and like there's no way for one channel to cover everything that's happening.
Mm,
So I do my best to like cover whatever I think is important at least, or something that may affect prices, or like might spark a new narrative or something like that, then I will tend to include those. But
right.
yeah, when it comes to like all these new projects, there's like too many like nonsense launching. Like these recent few months, like everything is like one day I go through like 50 plus
Man,
projects.
so
But
many.
yeah, a lot of nonsense lah. So like I usually just try to filter out as much as I can. But
Right.
like just full disclosure wise, like everything I post is not I don't necessarily aid into everything I post. It's just for like exposure, or just to let people know that this is launching. But
Mm,
there are like a lot of bugs lah, basically.
right. I mean, I don't think it's possible, right? Even for you to participate in everything that you're posting every single day. It's too many
Yeah,
to
there's
keep
no
up with also,
way.
right?
Too many already, man.
But yeah, I think you're doing a very good job, right? Whatever you post, I took a look, follow it, right? Um, it's very interesting. I think I definitely would recommend people to follow. So let's do a shout out, right? So on Twitter, that it's c4.gg. And I mean, I'll link it in the links below for those who are listening on YouTube. And then for those who are on Spotify, it'll be in the Twitter as well. So yeah, I'll link everything if you want to follow. I mean, definitely recommend. And yeah, but you run this all by yourself
Yeah.
at the moment.
I actually wanted to find intern, but then like I got the list already, and then because I posted it on my channel, then I was like looking at all the applications. Then I was like, actually, what do I want? So I also like just like put it on hiatus first for now lah. Because
Mm,
I'm still trying to work on the entire framework. If I actually like get some interns to help on what do I need and stuff. So it's still on hold lah. But as of right now, yeah, it's just me.
just you, right? All right. So, I mean, interns, you mean you don't know what you're looking for, as in like someone to help you go through the list to make sure, like filter out what goes in and what doesn't go in, something like that?
It's more like because what I do is very I would say sensitive lah, I guess. So I am kind of like hesitant to like share like how I find all these, like what
Right.
filters do I go through and like
Mm-hmm.
all this kind of stuff. So I'm still like on the fence with
Right, right.
regards to
Totally
that.
understand. Right.
Yeah.
But any plans for C4 to, I mean, expand or grow? Just gonna remain as a aggregator on Twitter and Telegram?
As for now, I've been hearing like, a lot of people prefer it to be on Telegram because like all the links are like on there. But I am most likely planning to not migrate entirely to like Substack or Beehive because like I mean I want to generate some start generating some revenue lah for this so
Right.
that I can like hire more people or like make more bots or whatever lah.
Get the
So
moolah.
yeah, but if I do it on Substack, it will probably not just be this format because it will probably include like stuff like what I'm doing, like what I'm looking at, like personally and stuff. Basically copying what Lin is doing lah.
It, you subscribe to Lynn's Ledger?
Yes, sir.
Right.
I gave a few free ones or so on my channel.
Ah, nice. I mean, that's
Yeah.
also a very good one. But
Mhm.
I mean, it's always interesting I mean, people will want to know what you are doing, right? Given like your track record of whatever you have been doing, people will know they want to follow what you're doing, they want to know what you're doing, what are your thoughts about certain projects, right? Things like that.
Yeah, but there's a
Yeah.
very fine line when it comes to like what when you tell people like what you're looking at, what you're buying, what you're selling, like there's a very fine line on like pumping and dumping on your followers. So I don't want to cross that line. So I've just been writing on my own, just like I haven't open it to the public yet. Like just writing on my own like what I'm doing and stuff like that, just to see. Then like I keep rereading it, like does this sound like I'm pumping and
Mm.
dumping on my followers or not? But
Right.
yeah.
I mean, with a certain following size, I think
Yeah.
it's inevitable that whatever you share will receive a certain amount of buying pressure over the next few minutes or hours or days, right?
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, look at DeFi Maestro, like he ape Tender, then everyone just follow an ape, and then like that Tender was all him and his followers.
yeah, I went to check. I was like on a 5 minute candle, like that God
Yeah,
candle,
yeah. So I
all
was
from
thinking
here.
like maybe do like a 2 day or 1 day delay, like
Mm.
stuff I do lah. So maybe that will be better, I guess. But then like people will say, oh, you shield 1 day later, you want people to pump your bag and stuff. So
That's
I also like
true. Yeah.
don't know yet lah. Let's see how lah for
Right,
now.
right. I mean, it's something to think about and figure out what's the best way that you want to go about doing. I think maybe that there's no right or
Yeah.
wrong way. Maybe it's just what you want to do, right, in your own way,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. It
And
depends lah.
mhm,
It depends because everyone has like a different definition and like what goals they want to achieve by like opening a Substack or whatever.
right,
So
right. So is it safe to assume that the C4 aggregator will be free forever?
I don't have plans to make it like paid lah for now because like I want to grow C4 to have a bigger subscriber base also.
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna stay free for now. Maybe
Right.
when I hit 10K then I will shut down the channel lah. But no, just kidding, right? Yeah, but I got no plans to like monetize it lah for now.
Right. Guys, unsub. Just view it, but don't sub. Right, right. And okay, so maybe you can go on to the next topic about like how you are being a expert new farmer. How would you recommend someone to get started in like you farming? Let's say I don't know anything, right? I mean I don't know anything. So how do I go about what is you farming? How do I go about learning that? Yeah, maybe you can go about the process. How would you teach or recommend someone to get started?
Um, Generally, like I wouldn't if you're like someone like who's trying to like make it in crypto or whatever, and if you're starting small, I wouldn't really recommend you farming because like anything under four figures is like there's no point of you farming because like you get abysmal returns. Like you farming like $500 or USD on like 10-20% is not gonna bring you anywhere to be honest. Unless you're like farming like native degen tokens, then maybe yes. But in general, usually when I first started you farming, I would recommend someone to start with like stuff like just basic Uniswap V2 pools or like Trader Joe, like all the V2 pools are not the liquidity book, not V3, but just regular LPing, understanding what is impermanent loss, understanding whether this protocol you're using if they have any audits or not. So stuff like that. There's a lot of like benchmarks to assess before you enter a farm. But generally, if you were to start yield farming, because yield farming is not necessarily just LPing in a DEX, because as long as you are generating yield on your assets, then it's like yield farming already. So
Mm-hmm.
it can be looping on a money market, it can be staking your ETH with any of the LSDs, like generating returns. That's also yield farming already. So there's a lot of different and simple ways on earning yield. So like obviously the easiest one is like just staking your ETH lah. That's and then like the other one is like putting your ETH into like your money market, borrowing stable coins and then go farm like somewhere else. So there are a lot of methods to earn yield, but the simplest one that people should start with is definitely a DEX, like how do you add LP, how to remove LP.
Mm-hmm.
Then after that, you can maybe move on to like money markets or like ETH staking. Then you can try to incorporate all three. So for example, like staking ETH, then taking your like stake ETH or rocket pool ETH or whatever, and then putting in a money market, borrow stable coins, and then stable coin LP in a DEX. So
Mm.
this is like an example of how you incorporate all three lah. And then you have stuff like Uni V3 ranges and stuff. But that's like
Complicated topic.
yeah, very complicated.
Right, right. I think I've heard also a lot of people mention what you mentioned as well, about maybe it's not as worth it to go and farm if you are on a smaller stack, right?
Mhm.
And also definitely learn about impermanent loss. I think that was one of the very first things that I went to learn about as well. I think it was on the YouTube channel Whiteboard Crypto. Not sure if you checked them out
I
before,
think I heard of that
right?
before.
That was way back. Yeah, so I think it was pretty interesting to learn about all these kind of things. And like, what is your research process, or is there like a framework that you go through in looking into projects?
Oh, you mean like when it comes to farming
Um, yeah,
or
it
in
could
general?
be. I mean, it can be for farms as well, or maybe like if you want to decide in general, like to buy that token or not.
Like honestly, when it comes to farms, if my friends ape, then I just ape also. Well, I mean, like as long as like that, I think I wrote a Twitter thread about like what parameters you should look at before you decide to enter a farm lah. So stuff like, does this project have audits? Is the
Mm-hmm.
team like dogs or not? What have they previously worked on? Then like, is there any fees with regard to the farm? Like, is the smart contract under a time lock? Or is it a proxy? Because proxies are upgradable, then they can drop you anytime. Then there's also you have to consider like if let's say you're farming ABC token and the protocols are spitting ABC token out to you, but then there's only like a few $100 worth in liquidity for you to exit. So if it's like that, right, then there's no point lah. Even though they are printing like 5,000%
Mm-hmm.
ADR, there's no liquidity for you to exit also. So you have to take into account stuff like that also lah. But
Right.
generally, the biggest point is like safety concerns, because you're risking a lot. You're risking your entire deposit amount for like whatever yield they are paying you. So safety is the number one concern.
Mm-hmm.
Smart contract wise, yeah.
Right. I think maybe I just want to touch on a point of friends ape, you ape. Would not recommend if your group of friends are like me who are not big brain, right? I mean,
I mean,
you
there
can
are a
do
lot.
it because
Yeah,
like if you have a circle of people who are all really smart, they are already very experienced in this space in farming, then definitely that you know they can trust them, then by all means go for it, right?
yeah. Because I'm not the guy who knows how to read all these like super complicated smart contracts.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the guy who finds like stuff early, like when farms launch. Then I just basically, I just go and ask them, hey, is this safe? Go and look at the code. Yeah.
Right.
So because like I mean, if I give and take, I give them farms, then they look. If it's safe, then both of us safe lah. So if I give and
Right.
take,
I think this
but
is very important. Sorry, you can go ahead first.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
Right. So I think it's very important to have a group of people where everyone has different skill sets where you complement each other, which is what you just mentioned, right? So
Yeah.
you're good at identifying projects early. Then you have the dev guy who looks at the code. And then like you guys just sort of join forces to help each other out. I think this is very important, and this is what I would want to do for myself, and I would recommend everyone to get a circle of people that you can trust, where everyone have their own strength and weaknesses, right? Where you can complement each other. I think that's a very good framework. Um, like relying on the circle of friends itself, if they have enough knowledge, competence, right?
Yeah, but the only caveat is like you don't treat the guy who knows how to read code like your personal dev lah. You don't like throw him everything. Hey, is this safe? Is this safe? Of course, they'll get annoyed lah.
Right.
So I mean, you just have to know the boundaries and like give and take, share offer, and obviously they will reciprocate lah.
Yeah, definitely. And then maybe you can touch a little bit more on the in general part, like not about farms, like, hey, should I buy ETH? Should I buy like ABC token, that kind of thing?
I mean, in general terms, I'm not the most I honestly I don't spend like 1 2 days doing DD on a certain project before I buy that token. I
Mm-hmm.
ate first and then I think later. But I mean like I'm more of I guess more like more narrative, less lines, less fundamentals. So like some people they trade using technical analysis, some people trade because they fundamentally believe.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like rotate left and right. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
have a few bags which I like lah. Then I hold longer term, but in general, I tend to like try to eat into stuff that people has didn't notice before it gets noticed. Basically, so like for example, stuff like Kanto, I was farming there since day one.
Then this is
Uh,
alpha.
yeah, I mean, the only reason I hate because it's like the whole like community like no VC, no all this, no all that. It's like it's sort of like it's very mini and like very
Mm-hmm.
community kind of like thing lah. And then like the community there was like damn strong. So they were like always like, oh, we are Keto Maxi and stuff like that. So I kind of like that idea. So I was like aping and farming. I mean the token went up and went down for quite some time until I think like cannot remember which VC started talking about them saying they invested and then the whole thing just went parabolic to like
Mm.
70 cents I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, guys who are listening to this, maybe don't blame him if he dumps Kanto on you.
I mean I dumped like some but
Right.
I'm still holding some also
Right.
lah.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Right. So
Yeah.
you mentioned that you're more of a narratives guy, right? So
Mm.
I'll assume you're looking maybe at ZK or like LSD at the moment.
LSDs, I think like for LSDs before like all this Shanghai thing, everyone was like eating stuff like Rocket 2, Lido and stuff. And
Right.
then now like we cycle back to the LSD narrative really. I think a lot of people are looking at more on the decentralized staking LSD, so stuff like EtherFi, stuff like you Unsheath,
Yeah.
Unsheath.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like aping this lower cap LFVs because it is higher beta. So I'm kind of looking where all the ETH is going post unlock because honestly I doubt people will dump ETH because like it doesn't I mean it might be sell the news event but there will be a lot of people who have stake ETH for like don't know how long that they want to rotate their ETH into stuff other stuff but the other stuff might be NFTs also lah, I feel, because NFTs have been taking a shit for quite some time, especially with Machi doing the whole blur farming
Right.
thing. So NFT floors have dipped quite a few. So I'm trying to place myself. I don't know how this will turn out, but if my flow back to NFTs post Shanghai, it might or might not, but I mean, I'm looking at stuff like Blur, like stuff like Sudo. Then you have like OpenSea releasing OpenSea Pro.
Right.
So I mean, who knows? But that's just like something I'm looking at lah.
I got a question. Are you an NFT person?
No, man, I literally have zero clue on NFTs. Although I minted the Sparta Dex NFT, but I generally don't know what is going on in NFTs. Except if you're talking about stuff like other side, like I minted other sides lah. So, but besides all these like super blue chip stuff, I don't really like try to follow what's going on in the NFT space because there's only so much you can follow. I tried following like when I started C4, I tried following like DeFi, NFT, and GameFi all together.
Wow.
But I tried for like 1 week. I'm like, dude, there's no way anyone is going to cover all.
It's too many.
Yeah.
I think, and it's a lot of GameFi projects don't really last long in the space, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, for now.
Yeah, for now at least, right?
Stuff, yeah, it's a lot of all like, it's just like money rotating. Like, it's all, what, pay to earn? Yeah, so I mean, I haven't seen like decent like after XC was the pioneer for the Doom token thing. So after that, I think a lot of people try to copy, but just failed miserably lah. So in the end, this dual tokenomics system isn't that sustainable yet. So I don't think anyone has like found out the perfect balance when it comes to this kind of like incentives to onboard like users. So just have to wait and see.
Yeah, I'm just curious, right? Because just now you mentioned about money be rotating to NFTs maybe. So like maybe I was thinking you might be buying some NFTs or something. So just asking.
Nah, I won't buy it. I mean, I really don't like locking like 60 ETH into a bond game. It honestly like doesn't make sense to me lah. So I'll refrain from buying NFTs ever probably.
Right. Okay, I think even for Sparta Dex, it's a little bit different. I wouldn't consider it like an NFT in a sense.
Yeah.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah. So, maybe we touch on a couple of topics now. What we covered also the Shanghai, right? So maybe you can hear a little bit about what about your thoughts for like the rest of the year. What do you think? Like, are we going to get out of this bear soon, or are we going to get worse or something like that? Any thoughts from you?
I'm not the most I'm not the most macro person. I honestly like I don't like really follow macro that much unless it's stuff like Silvergate closing down, stuff like it. Then obviously if it appears on my headlines, then of course I will know about it. But I don't like S&P 500. I don't chart that stuff. I don't chart that thing. I just look at the chart, but I don't really draw like which line is this bearish for S&P, bad for S&Ps. Like I think Regular Midis has very good macro analysis.
Right, agree.
Yeah, so I just kind of like whenever he posts, then I read lah. But other than that, I don't really follow what is going on in the world, I guess. So I'm more like just doing my own thing in my own little circle. Until it happens, then I guess I'm more like reactive lah.
I see. I mean, to you, it's like it doesn't matter, right? Like good news, bad news. I mean, it will pass, right? So like,
eventually it will still pass, and I mean, you still can make money lah.
Definitely,
like, yeah. So I don't really follow macro that much. But
bear market make money, bull market make more money. No difference to CJ.
I mean, like there are a lot of people also making money, whether bear or bull, as long as you know how to place yourself, manage your risk properly. Because the key point is to survive, not to I mean, you don't have to force yourself to make money in a bear if you're not positioned for it. But the most important thing is to survive, have have reserves to deploy whenever you think is the right time and stuff like that. So I think a lot of people like surviving is very underrated in
Mm.
crypto because everyone hears about crypto. Oh, crypto can make money, but you have to survive first to make money.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I agree with that totally, man. Right. A lot of people also mention, and it's true, right, that there's still a lot of opportunities, even in this bear market. Like there's a bull market somewhere if you can catch on to it.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Just
of
have to
course,
survive
survival is
until then.
important. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just have to survive until then.
Yeah, definitely need to have some, I mean, they will say like dry powder to keep you afloat to buy the dips, right? Right. Then any interesting sector slash chain slash projects that you are looking into recently? We will not count this as shilling your bags.
Uh, I guess like uh, I think I talked about this in like podcast with Garland also lah. So
Mm-hmm.
because like now a lot of people are starting, more and more people are working in Web3. So a lot of them receive payment slash salary in Web3 also. So people use like streaming payment stream apps. So stuff like Super Fluid and stuff like that. So I think I mentioned before, like there are projects that are coming out which are specifically using your payment stream. Like basically, you take a loan on your incoming salary for the month. So for example, let's say this is April 7th. So let's say you're supposed to get 1K USD at the end of April.
Mm-hmm.
So your company streams you that payment like let's say if they use Superfluid lah, so they will stream you that payment either every end of the month or every day or whatever, it depends. So like there's stuff like FUMA protocol, which allows you to take a loan uh, on that lah, basically. So you can take let's say 1,000 or $800 upfront while the salary
Before
is
the
being
pay
streamed to
comes.
you.
So it's like a credit card in a sense.
Yeah, it's like credit card in a sense lah. So uh then I have recently seen like a few more protocols doing the same thing. So this is something I find interesting, but there are a lot of problems when it comes to this. Yeah, but I don't know how it will play out, but it's at least this is interesting to me, I guess.
Maybe you can elaborate a little bit more on the problems that you see in this kind of protocols.
So I haven't gone through all the super technical stuff, but for example, like what if someone like if you're getting fired from that company or you plan to leave the company in let's say
Mm-hmm.
next month, you are not going to tell the company yet, or either you are going to take a loan from that and like whatever, then maybe something happens, then the company has to fire you. So what the company is not going to pay you at the end of the month because like maybe you've done something shady or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
where is the money going to come to back your initial loan?
Right.
Yeah, so there are stuff like this. So I don't know how they are doing it yet. So
Okay, okay, yeah, interesting. I mean, this is new to me. I never heard of this, but yeah, super interesting. Like you mentioned, right?
yeah, there are also like I guess there are also some interesting other stuff that are building also. So I'm pretty sure like everyone has heard of like Celesta, Feel, Mental, all these kind of stuff So just waiting for it to launch, I guess. But other than that, cannot really think of anything that really pops out in my mind because I look at too many every day.
You need to search the memory bank.
Yeah.
Right. I think Celestia has been very long already, right? I think a couple of years.
Yeah, there's a lot that have been building for very long already So then you have like stuff like Sui or Say. So there's a lot of new like entirely new chains, I guess, which I'm pretty excited to try in a sense. And I mean everyone also farming airdrops so I'm just waiting for payday.
Right. ZK Sing.
Yeah.
Are you trying everything? Like Sui, ZK Sing, Layer
Sui,
Zero?
yes, Say yes, Layer Zero, yes. DK Sing, I mean I'm really like aping dog coins.
Already farming in there since.
Yeah. I'm really aping there already so I'm pretty sure
Nice.
that will count to something.
Right. Then you get double the returns.
Yeah, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, we've been chatting for quite some time now. Maybe we can move a little bit away from all the boring talk and then get to know more a bit about CJ. So you mentioned that you're doing this full time now, right? Like no longer 9 to 5. So like
Yeah.
what's your typical day like, your routine?
Honestly, like my routine is might seem very mundane to a lot of people, but I mean I really enjoy what I'm doing lah. So then usually I think I sleep around like 3 4 a.m. and then I wake up like 10 11. Usually lah, but sometimes I sleep like 4 hours only lah. It
Oh
really
shit.
depends on what is launching, what's not. Cause like for example, every Thursday, like 8 a.m. like Singapore time, every 8 a.m. is like the new Solidity epoch. So I always have to wake up at 8 to go and see which pools are good,
Man,
what yields are higher. And then there's like so many different solid so I have to go and go through all that and then shuffle my positions around.
man.
But yeah, so I generally look at the PC for most of the day lah. Like wake up, check PC, lunch, check PC, dinner, check PCs, then sleep. Like
Right.
honestly, like that's most of the stuff I do. I mean, I get on like calls, do my research, do some research, write a few stuff, write articles, do C4. Then, I mean, other than all this, I guess I go out to buy groceries, sometimes go gym, play
Nice.
basketball, play badminton,
Are you
bowling,
like
stuff like that
are you
lah.
like jacked in real life? Like a lot of all the CT bros are pretty jacked.
Uh, I used to be, but now after I started crypto like legit full time, right? I gave everything back already. Like, 'cause, yeah, like I literally like forced myself to just do crypto and then I like sort of like ignore all this but try to slowly get back to it, I guess. But then I've been hit by a string of injuries like sprained my ankle, cracked
Ooh,
my arm, then most recently pulled my shoulder. So like injuries non stop.
like from
Shit.
basketball, bowling kind of thing.
My feet was from badminton. My arm, my hand was from accidentally hitting a wall.
What?
Then yeah, it was a dumb story. Yeah, and then my shoulder was from basketball. So I keep getting injuries lah. Like every time I go out and play sports. So I also like don't know what the hell is going on with me anymore.
But all right, I think you play a lot of sports. So I think that's good. Very sporty.
Yeah, I mean I like sports lah.
Yeah, that's nice. But then like now it's like whole day in front of the computer.
Yeah, usually I go out. I still go out every week to play sports like badminton,
Ah, that's nice.
sometimes basketball.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice. All right.
and been trying to go gym more often, but nowhere near what I was last time. Slowly.
Slowly, yeah, correct. Slowly
Yeah,
but
slowly.
surely, right? I mean, who cares
Yeah.
what they say, right? You do your own thing on your own pace as long as you get
Mm-hmm.
there. Progress is
Yeah.
progress.
Slow and steady lah.
Correct, correct. Right. And I mean, you mentioned that you are a analyst now, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is it okay to elaborate a bit more on that?
Yeah, so basically I just try to look for new projects or like do some basic initial DD on certain projects, and then if I think they are like interesting or something that is like worth talking to the team to learn more, then I usually just pass it to my senior. If she says okay, then we go on a call with the team just to learn more lor. So
Mm,
if everything is good, then second round, and then if everything is good again, then we'll probably if they are still raising, then probably we will try to get like a slot in.
nice. All right.
Yeah, so it's just very basic like analyst stuff, I guess. But I don't have any track five background or whatever lah. So I also don't know what the hell am I doing.
Hey, I hope your boss doesn't listen to this, man.
Actually, they probably won't lah.
Right, right. All right. Then, do you include this kind of projects in your C4 as well?
Some yes, some no.
All right.
Because there are some where like I can't share lah. So
Mhm.
C4 is not something that I share everything I have.
Right, right.
Because there's also like the time caveat. So like for example, like if something is launching at 2 p.m., I won't post on C4 until like 10 o'clock. So it doesn't make sense for me to like keep posting and like it's gonna flood my channel lah. So
Mhm.
I don't do it that often.
All right, I understand. I mean, but at least now you guys will know you can look for some good stuff in C4. Right. And actually, I wanted to ask you the next question, right? Before the analyst part was whether you have any hobbies outside of crypto, but I think you pretty much answered that already, right? I mean, any other thing besides sports?
Actually, I'm a dancer, so
Ooh, like
yeah.
what kind of genre?
Don't know if you know hopping.
Ooh,
Yeah, some
nice.
people know it by so-called robot dance. But yeah, I'm a hardcore dancer,
Like
like legit
since
hardcore.
since young?
Since I was in high school,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
since I was high school, like I go to events and I go competition and stuff like that. One. Then
Even
after
now?
I was now less really. I stopped after I started crypto. I threw
Right.
away a lot of things for crypto lah, but yeah.
All right. But I think it's very cool. I think dancers are, I don't know, to me they're pretty appealing in a sense. I think very
Yeah.
aesthetically good looking.
Oh, dude, no,
I
no,
mean,
no, no,
regardless of
not
male or
aesthetically.
female. I mean, like there's a charm to watching people dance. I think.
Thank you, thank you.
Right. Any other thing that you wanted to say besides
eh,
dancing?
Not really, I guess.
No. So,
Yeah,
but okay, I think pretty active person. I mean, dancing is also quite an active thing to do,
used to be lah.
right? Like dancing and sports, like you play all kind of sports. That's okay, but I mean, it wasn't as mundane as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, like I try to incorporate more of this in like my life now, but like honestly, crypto is like taking a lot of time lah. So I'm just trying to find like a proper balance where I
Mm,
can start doing all this I can start doing stuff outside of crypto more.
right. I think it's a
Yeah,
cycle that a lot of us go through. Like at the
yeah,
start, we don't do much of crypto, more of your like in real life job or whatever you're doing. And then as we start to go deeper, you spend more time to crypto, like you want to go and do more. And then at a certain stage, you feel like this is taking up too much of your time. Like you want to have
yeah,
some balance back, right? It's
yeah,
a cycle.
definitely.
Right. Okay, so is it known that you're Malaysian? I think so.
Yeah, I think a lot of people know
Right.
lah, honestly.
I think you mentioned in the other call of Illuminati,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
So
my accent also you can tell I'm either like Malaysian or Singaporean
right. So
anyway.
I can like
Yeah,
say this,
so
right?
it's pretty, yeah.
Right. So like what's like your favorite food? I mean,
Oh,
doesn't have to be, I mean, like Chinese food or like what cuisine first? Let's
okay.
go by cuisine first.
Dude, this is a super tough question because like I'm a foodie lah.
Big
Like I
foodie.
literally blast all my money on like food.
Same. Shit.
uh,
Oh my God. I love food so much.
shit. Tough question though, but if I had to pick one, I would say it's not a cuisine, but I love steak, I guess.
Ooh,
I'm a steak guy.
nice.
Yeah.
Like what's your preferred doneness?
Uh, Definitely medium rare.
Nice.
And whoever orders anything after medium, like you shouldn't even touch the steak.
But I think yeah, that's a sign of a real foodie right there.
Yeah, man, steak is life.
So like, do you go out for good meals all the time, every week? Whack.
I used to go out for steak like every week because my
Damn.
house I can't eat beef in my house
Ah, same.
yeah. So I always go out and eat like steak like once a week, I guess. But I think recently like doctor said I should chill on like red meat. So I was like,
What?
oh shit, okay.
But why?
Maybe I should cut down. No, I just went for like cause I think I was on I recently did some sort of like detox 1 week or 1 week each detox lah. So they said I had to cut down on my red meat consumption because I think my I don't remember. It's like my HDL or LDL. It's like the bad
Uh-huh.
cholesterol was a bit high because I've been eating too much meat.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I need to eat more veggie now.
Oh my God. That's like
Yeah,
the worst thing.
I mean all things in moderation lah. So
Definitely. What's like your favorite cut? And since you're such of a steak person.
I like tomahawks, I guess, but
Wow.
it's usually like something you have to share. You cannot eat the whole thing by
Right.
yourself. Yeah.
Nice. You enjoying life. But what about like Malaysian food? Let's say like what would you recommend like is the what's your opinion of the national dish of Malaysia?
Oh my god. It's going to be either like nasi lemak or it's either one of the three lah. Nasi lemak, laksa, or like char kway teow. I'm pretty torn between the three. I cannot really pick one.
It's like top three favorites,
Yeah,
or like you
top
think it's
three
a good
favorites lah.
representation of Malaysia?
Uh, Probably more towards good representation of Malaysia because like there's so many cuisines, but I think like these three are definitely in the top
Mm,
three lah. For me lah, personally.
All right. I think there's a lot of debate between
Yeah, it's a
Singapore
never ending debate.
and Malaysia's food, right? Like I'm from
Yeah,
Singapore, right? And like, we're
yeah,
always
it's a never
debating.
ending
It's
one.
like my food is the original, it's better than yours. Like, no, ours is the original,
Yeah,
right?
true, true.
But I think I went to KL once. I think I had a really, really good nasi lemak there. I can't remember the name though.
Is
Yeah.
it Village Park?
I honestly have no idea. I
Yeah,
was on a
okay, okay.
cruise, right? And like
Oh shit,
stopped there,
okay.
right? And then went for a few hours on the shore and
Mm,
then went to that so-called famous nasi lemak. Honestly, can't remember the name, but it's so good. Like I would definitely go back there again.
yeah. Oh wait. There's also bak kut teh. Like
Oh,
Singapore bak kut teh
right.
damn fake lah. It's just pepper
Hey,
soup.
what? It's it's good also, what?
Yeah, I mean, have you tried KL bak kut teh?
No, not KL, but I do go to JB sometimes for bak kut teh.
Okay, if you come KL, you just let me know. I'll bring you to eat real bak kut teh.
Shit, real bak kut
Yeah,
teh, right? So you
yeah,
see,
man,
it
it's the
started.
real
It
one.
started the real and not real stuff, right? I think it's always a very fun topic to, I think, to like bond over a meal.
Yeah.
To talk about food. I mean, recommend food, right? I mean, for myself, I think I like Japanese food a lot as well as like Chinese
Mm-hmm.
food. So it's always interesting. It's always nice to meet another foodie, I guess.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
like Japanese and Chinese also like it's up there lah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely think steak, Japanese cuisine, Chinese, like my top three. Definitely.
Nice. So next time
Right.
if I go Singapore, you bring me go to your top few restaurants lah that you like.
Sure, come. I mean,
Nice.
we hosted, I think me and a few other people from Batopia, right? Like we hosted
Yeah.
someone the other time. He came over.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay, okay. Soon lah, soon.
sure. Can meet the rest as well, right? And maybe we can round off this thing in a bit. We'll like let's go with your biggest lesson that you learned from crypto.
Biggest lesson for me would probably be to ignore what everyone is saying and just focus on what you think you have an edge in lah. So like you've always hear about people like trading leverage or like shitcoining their way like from what three figures to a millionaire or whatever. But you don't hear about the other 99% of people who just get burned all the way to zero.
Hmm.
So the most important thing for me is to understand that your risk tolerance might not be the same as the people you see post on Twitter, like they making this. Your risk tolerance might not be the same, and they might be only using like what 1-2% of their portfolio. While if you're copy trading them, you might aid like what 50% of their portfolio into a single project or token. So the most important for me is like you have to manage risk properly, lah. Because if you don't manage it properly, you're not going to survive. You're going to blow everything
Hmm.
before you have a chance to make money.
Right.
So yeah, I think that's my biggest lesson from crypto, I guess.
Right. I think that's a very solid lesson though. Like manage your risk or it will manage you. Right.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Right.
definitely.
Right. Think we are about there like almost an hour mark. Anything else that you would want to add that maybe we haven't touched on? Could be on yourself, could be about C4, anything in particular?
Uh, Not really, I guess.
All
Nothing
right.
comes to mind. Yeah.
Right. And as you know, I'm trying to grow this pod. Um, it would be nice if you could tell me who else that you would like come on to this pod for a chat, like we just
Oh
had.
yes, yes, yes. I've been thinking about this for quite some time actually.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, I have two people. I guess two people like I know them,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think anyone has interviewed them so far.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I mean one is very obvious. I think like you said, Lin hasn't. I don't think Lin has been on a voice interview before.
Nope.
Yeah, so that's number one. Number two is my good buddy Maker, like on Twitter, like the
Yield
very
farming.
ruthless youth farmer.
Yield
Yeah.
farmer, right? Okay.
Yeah, because I thought a lot of shit to him also lah. So it would be very interesting to get him on like an interview just so that you can hear what stuff he talks about.
Right. Another expert new farmers and their thoughts.
Yeah,
Learn
because
more
he's
about
pretty
how they
smart
do.
also.
Nice, nice. I mean, it's always very interesting to hear from all these big brains, smart people across the space, including yourself. Like have different people. Maybe like you are youth farming. The hallucinator is also a youth farmer. And it's also nice to get to meet some other people. Maybe if like I don't know, maybe I can get a dev on sometime or something like that. That'll be interesting, right? To
Yeah,
hear different
definitely,
thoughts of
definitely.
different people, their perspective as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. And with that, I thank you so much for joining me today and thank you for taking the time out, right? And thank you to my listeners for bearing with us for this 1 hour of talk. Boring talk. I hope not so boring talk, right? And yeah, all right. Thank you so much for listening. As usual, I will drop the links down below for the YouTube channel and in my Twitter for those who are on Spotify. All right. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Moose.
Right. Bye bye.
Ciao.